All right. Welcome in Toilets to Titles. This is episode number 172. This evening, Justin and I, we will be playing some fantasy football games, and we are very excited. We've been talking about this over the last few days. We have so much covered on the network right now between the Toilets to Titles network on YouTube and CFB Nation on YouTube, with the merger and what the partnership and with all the different content we have going on. We're touching on the draft. We're touching on college football. Like, we are touching on so much outside of this show. We're trying to bring a few different things to the table. We figured it'd be a lot of fun if we just had some fun chat about some fantasy football, some dynasty fantasy football assets. And with me this evening for these games, my co-host, my guy, Justin Stevens at JustinFF_ on the Twitter. Justin, what's happening?
Hey, what's going on, Coach? I think we both had really busy days, so it's a nice, fun way to wind down a little bit and try to relax our brains a little. See if we can't get some good rest tonight.
Yes. And today I had school, so I was down. I was up at 5 a.m. and did my daily run. Went down to school till about 3:30. My daughter had a softball game at 5, so I got there at 5:30. And then we went to the local ice cream shop. Shout out to Trailside Treats. They opened up. So after the game, we went and we didn't have dinner yet. So we picked up the ice cream to go. And I had a medium. I got a blackberry chip. I got like a little banana style ice cream, like Chunky Monkey. If you ever had Chunky Monkey from Ben and Jerry's, coconut almond joy. So, man, I'm feeling good, and I'm ready to talk about some fun topics with you this evening. And I want to let everybody know this show is brought to you by Real Ones Productions, and I had mentioned the CFB Nation. So go ahead and check out CFB Nation. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and make sure you're checking us out. If you are on YouTube, like, comment, all that good stuff. It supports the show. It supports the algorithm, helps push us to the top. And right now we're at 987 subscribers. So I think there's a good chance we hit this 1,000 subscriber milestone like within the next 7 days. It's very possible.
Yes, definitely, absolutely. I was really hoping that it was going to happen today. So, like I was telling you earlier, like I was out a lot in public today, so I had a lot of interactions with people. So. I really wish I would have actually gotten their name so I could give them a shout out. But I know of one in particular that said that he was going to tune in tonight. But if you're my boy from Panera Bread, I need you to chime in real quick and tell me your name, because I had like a 15-minute conversation with you and I still completely spaced actually asking your name. But we talked about the Raiders. So he's a big Raiders fan. So he knows about Rich, and he's ready to watch him on Sunday nights on the Roundtable. And real quick, I want to plug too. George and I had a conversation tonight, and we are going to be working hard on the off-season breakdowns. Those are going to be coming to you as soon as next week. So
hell yeah, that's incredible. The off-season breakdown. So this is our third anniversary. Is actually May 11th. So I went back and found the first episode. So we obviously started working prior to May 11th. So probably around this time, we were in full discussion 3 years ago to get this show up and running. But the off-season breakdowns is something, you have spearheaded from the jump, and it has been a good way for us to interact with different members of different football communities. So not just fantasy football, not just dynasty. We're talking to beat writers, right? People that are somewhat affiliated with these other franchises, and we are going straight to the source so that we can bring you, the listener and the viewer, we can give you info directly, because we all consume. I mean, I can't really speak. I'm going to speak for myself. I consume a lot of content throughout the day, through the radio, on Twitter, scrolling through and seeing what people have to say. But there's a big difference between what average Janes and average Joes are saying on the Twitter and what somebody who's actually plugged into the franchise is saying on a podcast. And me and Campy, we're running the Now About Them Cowboys show, which you want to check that out. It's also on the Titles Network. We've recorded 4 episodes so far. And we had Kyle Yeomans on from DallasCowboys.com.
Yeah, you did.
And like right to the source. And he's kind of helping me put the finger on who I think Dallas is going to draft. So that's the type of stuff you will get to see when we do these off-season breakdowns. And Starbuck is called. Oh, you see that jersey? That's from my guy right next to me, Justin Stevens. He hooked me up. But Nino, I did see that. Toiletstotitles.com, 100 player profiles have been released Today was the 100th, and I have the name, Nino. He's going to kill me for Travius Hodges Tomlinson. He just called, if you go to his write-up, he just puts THT because he's cool like that, So that's he refers to him as his initials. But I think the dude has over 2,500 snaps logged in his collegiate career. So Nino's been going heavy on the corners. I've touched on wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, linebackers, and corners. So you can see all of our player profiles, which we take pride in because we have worked very hard on them. toiletstotitles.com. Not only will you see our player profiles, you can also see our rankings. We've done quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and corners. And linebackers will be up this week. And me and Nino, we are also working on a top 100. So we're working on our big board. And what we are trying to do and aiming to do with the reason our rankings aren't all out yet is because we don't want to just release rankings without having written up these players. So we are releasing our rankings as we've written up these players. So you can go to the rankings, you could see a name, click it, and you could see our breakdown. And some of them we've both watched, or even Joe Clark has watched, or Dennis D now has watched. And if multiple guys have written up this player, you will get to see each of their write-up. So, man, it is something I've always wanted to do. And I've kind of, Justin knows, I'm sick. Dude, I was doing player profiles in Google Docs for my own sake, for my own analysis before I had a website. And, guys like Andrew Campy and Joe Clark, who had the capability of uploading this to toiletstotitles.com and making it look good. But shout out to Nino, man, for getting the 100th up there. And it has been very fun working on these. And we're going to get our top 100 out to you, the listener, prior to, so 2 weeks, we said no later than 14 days before the NFL draft. So I think within the next 10 days, you're going to see our top 100 up there. And then hopefully next year we'll grow a little bit. We'll get a little bit bigger. We can bring out some other writers and maybe we'll go to a 150. But that makes me also, brings me to the next point. If you're into the NFL draft, first off, you should be watching On the Clock, which is me, Nino, and KT every Thursday night, 8:30.
Yeah, Coach is cutting out a little bit. His hardwire got eaten up by his dog. So Coach is cutting out just a little bit, so I'm gonna give him time to come back on. But real quick before he does, I'm just gonna mention our Patreon because I know he's gonna mention it in a second anyway. Patreon.com/toiletstotitles. And there's all of our multiple levels down there at the bottom. Please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Coach is reconnecting right now, so we are good to go.
Man, I didn't even look choppy on my end. What the hell is that? That's frustrating. But I was just mentioning, so I was wrapping up. I'm not sure at which point I got cut out, but I was wrapping up the discussion about the player profiles and, what we're working on, when we're going to.
If you're interested in the draft.
Yes, you should be watching On the Clock, which is 8:30's me, Nino, and KT on the Toilets Titles Podcast Network. And you are also going to want to, if you do mock drafts, if you are someone who enjoys doing mock drafts, we are doing a mock draft challenge with the fine folks over at draftcountdown.com. 1 entry per person, right? You're going to do a full first round mock draft. You're going to email it to toiletstotitles@gmail.com. You must be subscribed to the Draft Countdown's YouTube channel. You must be subscribed to Toilets Titles YouTube channel. When you email me the mock draft, I'll send you a link to our Gilded chat, and then we will be discussing this in the Gilded chat. We will be discussing everything else. You get to chat with us throughout the offseason, throughout the end of the season. Now, we will be putting $20 into a pool for every 10 people that sign up. We are capping that at $500. It is free for you. All you need to do your research or don't do your research. Write up a first round mock. Email it to us, toiletstitles@gmail.com. We are putting money in a pot, capping it at $500. The person with the most accurate first round mock draft wins it. The way this is going to be graded: 2 points for each correct match of team and player, 1 point for having a first round player in your mock. Ties are broken by most matched team to player. So we just announced this today. We are working in the background with draftcountdown.com. Even if you're not joining this mock challenge, you should be following them anyway because they do great work. Miranda, Shane, Brian, they really, they get to it over there. They know what they're doing. So go check them out. But come mock with us, man. It's free real estate, right? You can't beat that. So, man, Justin, I think enough of all the chitter chatter. all the basic things here. I think it's time to play some games. So you have a game that you're bringing to the table first, and then we will follow that up with my game. So I'm ready, man. Hit me.
All right, so I don't really have a name for this game. I didn't really think that deep. I probably should have, but so I'm going to. I actually I'm putting a little bit of a twist on it that you didn't know about. So just because I wanted to see you squirm a little, I'm going to give you some stats here, and I want you to try to tell me who you think um, got those stats last season, or at
Okay.
least it'll at least be a similar player, I'm sure. After I give you those stats, I want you to tell me a guy or two that you think are potentially going to earn a very similar stat line for the 2023 season, this next season.
So wait, so the first part of the game is I'm going to tell you who had those stat lines last year,
Yes,
and then the second part of the game is who I think can do it this year.
correct.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So the first one, he was QB7 overall, and all of these are in PPR. Okay, so every stat I give you is going to be PPR. He was QB7 overall. He was number 4 overall in yards with 4,500 yards. I'll say it was like 4,547 yards, but let's just say 4,500 yards. I'm going to try to make the yards as easy as possible. He had a 65.9% completion rate. That was 18th among quarterbacks with 100 attempts or more. So middle of the road on completion percentage. 4,500 yards was 4th overall in the league. 29 touchdowns, 5th overall in the league. But he also had 14 interceptions, which was tied for 3rd most interceptions. And a QB rating of 92.5, 16th overall. So, in other words, dude made a lot of mistakes, but dude had a lot of big plays.
I feel like at first I wanted to say Geno Smith, but I don't think he made that many big mistakes. So I'm not going to go with Geno Smith. And then I want to go with Kirk Cousins. That you said he was 7th overall in scoring quarterback.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to say Kirk Cousins.
Yep, you got it. Nice. Nicely done.
Man, I just, you know what? Also, like, not just the numbers. I feel like he's like a lightning rod.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting listeners at home and Justin, who's a teacher, you are getting inside the brain of not just Coach Sheps, John Sheps. I am a good bullshitter. I'm good at I was never good studying, like I was never a good student, but I always passed tests because my brain has weird ways of figuring out, multiple choice. I can always cut out 2 or 3. So the first thought I had was, who's a player that is volatile, back and forth, but in the middle. So it made me think Kirk Cousins is a prime candidate for that. And also Geno Smith. But Geno Smith didn't have the mistake. So that would have been my guess. But
And looking at his stats across the board, across the whole season, he was pretty consistently right at that QB 10 to QB 15 range almost every single week because of the tools around him. So even though he had 14 interceptions and several fumbles, it didn't even matter, because he had those weapons, and he had all those touchdowns. So that brought him up. So for fantasy purposes, he was Mr. Consistency.
I could see the Vikings going with like a wide receiver. You know who I would hate to see in Minnesota because I want him in Dallas, but if they bring it, Adam Thielen's gone. He was a big slot, but there's a lot of, traditional style slots in this year's draft class. And I'm going a little bit off topic, but the discussion is leading me here. I would love to see Josh Downs in Minnesota doing work from the inside with Justin Jefferson on the outside. And they could probably get Downs early in the second. I think that would be very dynamic, and that would help Kirk Cousins. I was also reading somewhere, I don't know if it was Florio, but people were mentioning that. I don't know if this is real or if this is just bogus NFL draft trade discussion talk. But I heard the Vikings were trying to shop Kirk Cousins a little bit this offseason at the combine. But again, that could be bogus. It could be bogus. It's just, anyone gets a blue check mark
So
nowadays. So
Kirk Cousins seems like that kind of guy that is never going to be able to put you over the top and win a championship. So if you,
plus so much though, his contract's ridiculous.
yeah, I know, I agree. But if you think that you are just that one piece away and you are now no longer that confident in him,
Right.
then I could see it being a possibility.
Right.
So who do you think is going to get a similar stat line or potentially could get a similar stat line? Roughly around the QB7 range, 4,500 yards, 14 interceptions, 29 touchdowns.
Aaron Rodgers, if he goes to the Jets.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. That is
maybe he doesn't get quite that many interceptions, but
I don't know, man. He's 39, playing in a new system. I mean, he's probably going to bring, because he's playing with the offensive coordinator there, was an offensive coordinator in Green Bay, so he's familiar with it. So that's bogus. It's not necessarily playing a new system, just, change of scenery, wide receivers he doesn't quite know yet. And last year you saw him take a step back in throwing. He was relying more heavily on the run, but he might come to New York guns a-blazing. He might be chucking, and I expect big numbers, but I also expect some mistakes. So I could definitely see Aaron Rodgers with a stat line similar to that.
I like it. I was kind of thinking a David Carr
Derek.
Derek Carr.
What about Brock Purdy?
David Carr's stats would be way worse.
What about Purdy? If Purdy starts in San Francisco,
I think he definitely could finish as a top 7 quarterback.
If he gets the full season,
I think he's better. Honestly, I don't think he's going to have that many interceptions.
Right.
I think he'll play smart.
But now this will be his second year.
Yeah.
They'll have some film on him.
Yeah.
And usually the luster, comes off a little bit after your first, go. How dare
you? Yeah. David, I like David better.
Derek wears guy liner, which we're cool with. You can go ahead and do it. It just needs to be pointed out. All right, what's the next one?
All right, so the next one, running back, RB13 overall last season. Again, remember this is PPR, RB13. 1,040 rushing yards, so just over 1,000 rushing yards. That was I didn't write down where that was. Oh yeah, wait. No, he was RB13 in rushing yards. He was 13th in rushing yards at 1,040. He was RB7 overall.
Was it Pollard?
No.
Close, though.
It was very close because Pollard actually had – so this guy had 10,040 rushing yards, and I believe –
Pollard at 1,020.
Yeah, it was only – he was the next guy on the list.
Damn.
This guy had 210. I wasn't going to make it that easy for you.
Yeah.
The next guy had 210 carries, which was 16th in the league. So 16th in the league in carries, 13th in yards, but RB7 overall in PPR because he had the 4th most catches on the 3rd most targets with 69 catches, 88 targets, 421 receiving yards.
Was it ETN?
No. And 5 yards per carry. His target share was 4th in the league for running backs at 17.3%.
This is tough.
He had 5 rushing touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdown.
This is very tough.
So only 6 touchdowns and only 1,000 yards, still finished RB7 because of his PPR points.
Rich thinks it's Miles Sanders.
Or Eckler, he says.
Right, but is it Miles Sanders?
It is not Miles Sanders.
Give me AFC or NFC.
You know how much I hate Miles Sanders.
I know. AFC or NFC?
AFC.
Is it Ramondre?
It is Ramondre. Your next clue was going to be that I was very high on him.
I was going to say Ramondre, but what threw me off, I didn't know he did that much in the passing game.
Yeah.
So with the rushing numbers, I was going to say Ramondre Stevenson. But now I feel good, man. It didn't take me
tough.
to,
That one was tough. I thought I was going to stump you. So the thing about Ramondre last season with Damian Harris is when Damian Harris was actually healthy and playing, they did split carries a lot, but he was still the receiving back. And it's just a quiet offense for the receiving back since Rex Burkhead isn't there anymore. And
I almost worked Ramondre into the game that I'm going to play with
Oh
you.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh man.
almost did, but I didn't. So I'm glad that's so we were both thinking of him.
I can't say that I love Ramondre Stevenson because he plays for the Patriots, but
Right.
if he were on any other team, I mean, I'd want his jersey. Dude's
Right.
amazing. All right, so that was fun, but and you were very close with Pollard
Well,
because
well,
that was part of the reason why I chose this guy is because his
right.
stats are so similar to Pollard. But so who do you think is going to get a very similar?
Khalil Herbert.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. I totally forgot about the guy. I
Yeah.
like it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I
Do you
think
think?
Khalil Herbert does that this year. I think he'll get the passing numbers, 5 yards of carry. He'll be able to go. I think the Bears will bring in another running back. I think he'll be the feature, but
Yeah.
I think there will be another guy who will take like a third of the touches for the running backs because that's just kind of how the NFL rolls. So I think Herbert, which George, shout out to Showtime George, he's going over. So we've been doing a lot of shorts on the YouTube channel. Shout out to Nino as well for being a
Oh
wizard and making those things look pretty. He didn't even have Khalil Herbert in his dynasty running back rankings.
yeah. So I like Khalil Herbert a lot better than my comp. I was going to say Javonte Williams. I think Williams comes back healthier and he'll be more of a feature back there. But I like Khalil Herbert. I do think that Herbert's going to get more carries. So if he gets that similar 5 yards per carry line, he might actually maybe even finish a little higher than RB7.
This is fun. I
Um,
like this game.
but yeah, that's a great comp.
George says he's not top 10, but he's got Cam Akers top 10. Get the hell out of here. Cam Akers will be lucky to finish top 10 3 times this season. Bathroom boy.
Oh,
Bathroom boy.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Uh-huh.
I'm not taking that bet, but
George can.
yeah, he can. I'm leaving it out there for him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, man, you're
Jag.
confident.
Cam Akers is a jag. Just a guy.
Next guy, wide receiver. He was wide receiver 9 overall in PPR. He had 95 catches on 136 targets, so he was ninth in catches in the league, ninth overall in PPR points, 13th in targets. So his catch percentage was pretty decent. He had
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
no.
Okay. Sorry.
No.
Keep going.
He had he was just 4 yards short of 1,200 yards, 1,196 yards. So pretty much 1,200 yards. 7 touchdowns, which was 12th in the league.
You wouldn't give me CeeDee Lamb if you wouldn't give me Pollard. So it is CeeDee Lamb.
It's not CeeDee Lamb.
No. It's close. He's close too. He had like 1,200 yards and 7 or so touchdowns.
Yes, but I didn't do that one on purpose.
Okay.
I did notice that after I was. This is just a guy that I wasn't big on to start the season, and nope, no, Rich. Yeah, I think
Yes.
George. He's asking you if you want the bathroom bet, so I think
I told him he doesn't have to ask me.
he's probably on a delay. He was
Yeah.
probably asking you the same time, so he'll respond.
Do it. Put it on the dock. Put it on the bathroom board dock.
This guy also had a 27% target share, which was 14th in the league. So only 14th in the league in target share, but still finished wide receiver 9. And his 7 touchdowns was only 12th in the league. So those catches really helped him in PPR.
George just said Akers will finish higher than Herbert in PPR leagues. I'll take that bathroom board bet as well. They're not even going to be close. Just put it on the board, George. I'll take Herbert. For this wide receiver, somebody you weren't high on. He finished 7th. Veteran or like first 2-year player?
He's young. He's very young.
It's not Ayuk. It's not Pittman because that's Colts and you'd be high on him. AFC or NFC?
I'll give you an even better hint. He wasn't even the best guy on his own team.
Wasn't Godwin because Godwin was banged up.
27% target share wasn't even the best on his own team.
Oh man, I'm having a brain fart. Who would chuck like that? What division? What conference? Rather
NFC. Nope,
Man,
not Kirk. Not
no,
Kirk.
it's in the NFC. I'm struggling. Oh, Devontae Smith?
Devonta Smith. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Devonta Smith. I had no idea that he actually finished that high. And it surprised me. That's why I used him, and that's why I
He
started
was the
using
7th wide receiver 7.
him. He was or 9 overall. So he had
Okay.
7 touchdowns. Sorry, yeah, but he was wide receiver 9 overall. But I had no idea. That's why I didn't mean to pick another one super close to your Cowboys.
No, that's
Wasn't
good,
trying to throw
man.
you off. But as I was starting to roll with it, that's why I chose him because it surprised me so much. But,
And this is going to help my argument later for Jalen Hurts.
so George actually mentioned the guy that I thought was going to be similar to that this next season. So quarterback, regardless. So I'm
So this is 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns.
yes, yeah, yep.
I think it could be, and I said his name earlier, who it wasn't. I think Brandon Ayuk.
Rich.
I think Brandon Ayuk could hit those numbers this year. I do.
Yeah, yep.
I think he's gonna be the alpha wide receiver, and I still like Debo, and it'll be a Debo, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Debo, Ayuk situation in San Francisco. If they got a consistent quarterback who can throw the ball, I think we're gonna see Ayuk finish top 10 in fantasy this year.
Yeah, yeah. So last one, tight end. Dalton, shit.
You son.
Oh man.
Well, read me the stat line, and I'll at least tell you
yeah.
who's
So
gonna.
I was gonna
I'll tell you
say,
who's gonna do it next year.
there you go. So he
Roll with it. Act as if.
57 receptions, 57 receptions on 89 targets. His 89 targets was 7th in the league. 577 yards was 10th in the league.
George guessed it.
5 touchdowns. Yeah, that's amazing. He probably typed it before I started reading the stats. In his ears, 5 touchdowns, was 7th in the league, tied for 7th, and then he was 10th in target share for at 18.7% target share. So
I got one for you. Greg Dulcich, tight end,
okay,
Denver Broncos.
so he takes a step up and takes on more of the offense, and quarterback still is kind of sucking and has to dump it off to the tight end.
I mean, well, think about Sean Payton and think about
Yeah.
the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah,
They utilize their tight ends, man. They utilize their tight ends. Greg Dulcich, second-year player. He looked very good year 1. He was injured at times. If he can stay healthy, if Russ can stay healthy, Greg Dulcich, he'll be a household name, and he'll I think that's the one.
man, I can't believe I screwed that up. I was setting you up that whole time by
You were.
Man, I wouldn't use a cowboy.
Yeah, I was kind of on to you because I thought you were. I kind of felt the Jedi mind trick happening. That's why the second one with Lamb, I was like, wait, was he baiting me into thinking it wasn't Lamb, or is he baiting me into thinking it was Lamb? So we're gonna get better at these games, but I'm on to you.
Yeah, I just got so excited. I should have covered all these up because I almost did it for Devonta Smith too.
All right, so everyone, I appreciate everybody who's in the chat. Now we're playing another game, and I think you also can join Dalton Kincaid. That's true. Wherever he goes, man, you all can join in on this game as well. I am the game host now,
and I can already tell I'm going to get really ticked off at this game. But go because I saw the show notes on this one.
All right, so PPR, who will outscore who? That is the game we're playing right now. All right, first one, Mark Andrews or Darren Waller.
Yeah, so right out the gate. I mean, all right, so Darren Waller is quarterback proof, and he has a very similar quarterback. Sorry, Rich. I know people want to beat on Danny Dimes, but Danny Dimes has never had the type of weapons and Carr hasn't had great weapons, don't get me wrong. But I think they're very similar. I think Waller's going to perform no matter what. Man,
it's tough. We don't know what the situation's going to be with Andrews.
I think Darren Waller was already better than Mark Andrews when he was healthy and that offense was clicking and they were actually.
I don't think he was better than Mark Andrews.
I think there was a season that he finished ahead of him, right?
But
2 years ago?
I think they're both very talented.
Absolutely, and that's
And
what makes this tough because even without Lamar, I still think that Mark Andrews is quarterback proof. So like,
but who does Darren Waller have around him outside of Saquon Barkley in New York? And
right,
they just gave Daniel Jones the bag.
right,
It's tough.
yeah, it is tough. I'm confident, and I'm gonna stick.
George still thinks Darren Waller's in Vegas.
Wake up, George.
Uh-huh.
This is April.
Uh-huh.
So, all right. So, Mark Andrews, I'm still confident that Lamar's going to stay in Baltimore. I'm going to stick with my short that I did on our YouTube channel, and I think that Lamar isn't going to have a choice. They're going to tag him. He's not going to be able to sit out a year. He's going to end up staying there. So that's the proven thing, right? So we know that Andrews is going to have a great season. So
Well, we believe it because we believe you believe Lamar's going to go back, but this is still up in the air today. So
right,
you're making your answer based upon the fact you think Lamar goes back. But what if he doesn't? Does that make it closer for you?
it makes it way closer. I'd probably lean towards Darren Waller
Tough.
if Lamar's gone, but I still think it's going to be close enough that I don't want to take that chance. If I have to make a decision tonight, I'm gonna go with Mark Andrews.
All right. So you went with Mark Andrews. I am fine with that. So no bathroom board for me. And I pulled up the doc. So I have it. All right. This next one. This one's an NFC East special. CeeDee Lamb or AJ Brown?
Oh man, so we have another one coming up with an Eagles player that that this kind of goes. It kind of lines up together. So I'm going to have a big tiebreaker for all of my Eagles players this season. So I I admittedly was really low on the Eagles. I did not think that all the talent was going to mesh well and that they were going to be successful. Week in and week out, I kind of trashed the Eagles on the show, and week in and week out, they proved me wrong.
Mhm.
And it took me until like week 13 to finally admit that I was an idiot, right? So now here I am after admitting that I was wrong, still not really believing in the Eagles because of the head coach. This time it's because of the head coach. And I don't know if I just don't like the Eagles anymore. I mean, I've never liked them, but I
I
don't
think their leadership at the quarterback position is strong enough to the head coach don't mean diddly squat. I was going to use another D word, but it don't mean diddly squat because Jalen Hurts, he is their champion.
right,
He's their leader, man. Like
right,
he's the hardest worker in the weight room. He's the hardest worker at practice. He's soft spoken, but he carries himself in a grown up professional way. I think they look to him. I don't think it
right,
matters what Sirianni is doing.
right. And one of these two, AJ Brown, is a proven top-notch veteran, right?
CD outscored him last year.
That's what I was going to say. The other one is a young man that's already starting to surpass him, and now he has even another offseason to advance. And with me already trying to find ways to poo poo on the Eagles, I think I'm going to go with CD again over AJ.
All right. I'm fine with you on this as well. CD Lambs. And like I these are close enough for me that I don't have a selection for either, except for one of these. I have a strong selection. This next one I think is interesting. This next one I think some people are going to hear this and they're going to think they have the obvious answer, but I don't think it's as obvious as you think because injury and because of the coach's decision making and what he likes to do with rotating his backs. And this is David Montgomery or DeAndre Swift. So two Detroit Lion running backs, and David Montgomery is like a mosquito who like just will not go away. And he's talented enough to take away touches from DeAndre Swift. And dude's an Eagle Scout, hard worker. Dan Quinn is going to fall in love with David Montgomery. And then DeAndre Swift, he's got like all the talent in the world, can't stay on the field. And I don't know. I don't know if the coach likes him. So what do you think? See, everyone's saying Swift. They think that's the easy answer, but I don't think it's easy. What do you think?
So this is where I get mad at you because this is like a prelude to when the bathroom board started with David Montgomery and Miles Sanders, and I was wrong about David Montgomery to the point where I became a fan. I like the guy. Now he's going to the Lions, and he's Swift is obviously a very talented running back, but with those injuries, and Montgomery has proven that he's a very talented running back in his own right, especially between the tackles and between the 20s. Like Montgomery can move the ball. I feel like there's a real chance that Montgomery takes 60% of the carries and Swift takes 80% of the receiving back work and takes a lot of the other carries. So, and we're going PPR here, right, for all of these. So I think it's going to be extremely close. I think the PPR might put Swift over the top. If Swift stays healthy, I got to go Swift, but I'm not confident he does. He's not proven to me that he will.
Here's what I propose to Rich and George, who both are taking Swift. Would you take a bathroom board bet if I said David Montgomery falls within 5? Like, I think there will be no, like, so David Montgomery won't finish more than 5 spots behind DeAndre Swift if DeAndre Swift outscores him. Does that make sense?
David
Like,
Montgomery.
I think it'll be close. I think David Montgomery will be no less than 5 players behind him in the running back rankings when the season's all said and done. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Monty within 5 of Swift.
Rich said he'll take it.
Yeah, I'm not going to take that, but Rich has Swift.
I'm writing it down.
Okay.
So finish no further than 5 spots back. I think that's the better way to word it. 5 spots back from Swift. And Rich says no. Got it. All right, excellent. This is great.
And George wants the Swift side as well.
Cool. All right, this next one, while I'm writing this up, this is the big one. I did my short on this. You can go check it out. Toilets, the titles, into the shorts on the YouTube. Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen. I've pled my case. The floor is yours.
Again, I think I have a tiebreaker situation here, and I think that coach is a loose cannon that's eventually going to lose the locker room. Yes, Jalen Hurts is a great leader.
I thought you just said coach is a loose cannon who's eventually going to – I thought you were saying I was going to be a loose cannon about your decision, and I was going to lose the locker room. Oh, man. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, we respect our coach. I don't think the players are gonna for the Eagles are gonna respect their coach. So, so I can see this one not boiling over too well, and I feel like he's lost his 2 coordinators who have moved on to take better roles, and I don't know if going from offensive coordinator to the Eagles to the head coach of the Colts is a better role, but they've moved on to different roles, but probably more pay, I would imagine. But I think that it's a lot more likely that he's going to slowly start losing that locker room, at least their respect. And when that happens, man, I get he's a great leader. I agree with you 100%. But Josh Allen is a proven vet. He's been doing it year in, year out. He's slipped a little. He's had some injury issues that he tends to usually still play through. I think I'm going to go Josh Allen on this one. And I know that you took Jalen Hurts. That's why I know we're going to have a bathroom board on this, but it's so close that I would normally not want to do a bathroom board on this. But if I had to choose one, I would choose Josh Allen, and I think that makes it fair enough to do a bet.
So Josh Allen versus Jalen Hurts. Got it. On the bathroom board. All right, this next one I got for you. And I've already pled my case. Again, it's in the short, toiletsandtitles.com, YouTube. Check it out, and you won't have to – you can hear me out. You can see whose side you want to pick there. But next one, Dak.
You made strong arguments. Really,
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I tried. Dak Prescott or Kirk Cousins.
Oh, again, tough. Really tough because I feel like Dak is the better quarterback, the better all-around quarterback, and I feel like now he probably even has the better weapons with CD taking a jump up. Gallup's going to be healthy. It's just the way that offense is. It seems like the Vikings throw the ball a lot more than they really need to, or a lot more than they really should. And maybe that's because Dalvin Cook is always hurt. But man, Kirk Cousins just slings that ball around. He does not care. And sometimes it hurts you in fantasy with the interceptions, but most of the time when you got Justin Jefferson running down the field and now you got TJ Hawkinson in tight situations, I mean, we just talked about it, right? He was QB7 or something like that, or QB9 last year. I think 7 last year in PPR. So I think Dak's going to be right there with them too. I'm gonna go with Kirk Cousins because I feel like he's gonna have the heat and feel like this is gonna be his last season with the Vikings if he doesn't show up. So I'm gonna give the bump to Kirk Cousins.
I'll take Dak. You want to make this a bathroom board as well?
I'm about as confident in that as I am that I'm gonna lose the weight that I want to lose before Canton. But sure, let's do it.
George is in here crying still that he doesn't, apparently he didn't follow the show from year one and see. George, it was laid out from the beginning. Make as many bets as you can. Complaining he had a better percentage than me because he didn't have the balls to make as many bets as me. I put my money where my mouth is. All you do is you put your money with the Miami Dolphins because you're a homer. Come and bring something to the table. Put your name on the bathroom board list and come out of your comfort zone. Step up and man up. You can have more volume than me. Get 150 bets to my 100, and I will still beat you because I am better than you. Okay?
Ooh, that's a bathroom bet.
Point blank.
Bathroom board George? Bet. Who wins more bathroom board bets?
So you can't cry about percentages next year because my percentage will be better than you. I will have more wins than you, and you can have more bets than me. That's the one thing you could win. All right? So bring that to the table. I'm sick and tired of the boo-hoos over here. All right? So Justin, back to the show. You're going to take Kirk Cousins, and I'm going to take Dak Prescott?
Yeah, for the same reasons that Rich put in here.
Okay. Kirk Cousins, Justin, first, Dak Prescott, coach. Okay. All right, this next one. Cam Akers or Alvin Kamara?
Cam Akers. That one's easy for me.
We don't know. This one to me is similar to the Andrews or Waller, only because I feel like this is the most uncertain because we don't know with Kamara, with the suspension, like what's going to happen, where he's going to be. But also with Cam Akers, I could see him playing 6 games, and sitting out 11 or just being on the sideline, not playing because he got into an argument with the coach.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. He is kind of a bit of a loose cannon sometimes, but I just think he's far more talented at this stage in their careers. I don't know what it was with Alvin Kamara, but even when he was healthy last year, and even when they actually would give him the ball, he did not look like Alvin Kamara. There was something going on. I mean, a guy doesn't just lose talent like that overnight, but sometimes they kind of do. Maybe out of nowhere, we didn't hear anything from Todd Gurley, and I know his was his knees, but even still, he still claimed that he had something left in his teeth, and nobody gave him a chance for a reason. So
no one took Kamara. So the guys want to put this on the board. So I'm just putting it out there because this is I just think it's interesting. I don't know because I think there's a world where this season Alvin Kamara looks decent and outscores Cam Akers because I'm not as high as Cam Akers as some of you are. All right, this next one's fun. DJ Moore in Chicago or Elijah Moore now in Cleveland?
Yeah. I'm going to go DJ Moore, and I don't know.
Is this because of the quarterback in Cleveland, or is this?
That's part of it. You know how I feel about the human predator, but also I feel like Justin Fields. I think he takes a jump up. He needs that good target. He needs that guy that has a consistent 1,000 to 1,200 yard or every single season. Like that. That's just DJ Moore. You're going to get 1,100 yards from him. He's going to finish.
Even with Justin Fields?
Yeah. I mean, look at what he had at quarterback his whole career. Like he's never had a good quarterback. So, and I don't think that Justin Fields
I don't know.
Justin Fields because of Justin Fields. I think he's
ask Nate.
And for those of you not watching on YouTube, I just gave some killer air quotes. But I don't think that Justin Fields is Justin Fields. Yeah, I know Nate's never been high on.
I don't know if I'm confident in you think DJ Moore is going to have 1,100 yards or more?
Yes, yeah, I do. And I think if Justin Fields goes to a team that's not a division opponent of the Packers, maybe Nate doesn't show such a hatred towards
Right.
Justin Fields.
I want to say that that DJ Moore does not get 1,100 yards, but
I'll take that Bethune
yeah,
Board.
with the 17 games now changes everything. 1,100 yards is the new 1,000 yards.
Okay, how
You know
about
what I
1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns? 8. That's quite a bit for a
Yeah,
guy
I'll
that has
take that. I'll take
Justin
that.
Fields, right?
So Justin says, so you're going with DJ Moore over Elijah Moore.
Yes.
That's 1,100 yards and 8 TDs. Coach says no. All right, and then George is saying Elijah Moore is target competition too with Amari Cooper, and that is true. But that could also make he's got the better passer, and that could also make his job a little bit easier. And we know Cleveland's looking to step away from the run game and air it out. There's a world to me where Elijah Moore and Amari Cooper both go over 1,000 yards.
I think there's also a world where karma kicks the human predator in the teeth. So that's I'm waiting on that to happen.
Man, I want to take this might be too bold, but I want to say that Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore both get over 1,000 yards this year.
Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore both get over 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
I'll take that. I don't think they will.
All right, so coach says Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore both top 1,000.
A little bit off topic, but not really. What do you think is going to happen with Nick Chubb?
1 second. Justin and George say no. No way, he says. You're crazy. No way. I think it's definitely possible. What do I think happens to Nick Chubb? If Ramondre Stevenson wasn't in New England, I would think he would be perfect for New England. Like I think him and Bill Belichick would, it'd be great. I don't think he goes to the AFC. I think it would have to be in the NFC. I think he'd be a good fit in Washington, but they got, I think Antonio Gibson's kind of old news. They do got Brian Robinson, but I think he'd be a good fit in Washington. I don't know. What do you think? Where do you think he ends up?
I hadn't even considered the Patriots until you just mentioned, but Belichick kind of likes that 2 running back set when he can get it. Like when they were both healthy, he actually did still use both of them. It actually kind of makes sense, really. But I'm thinking Chicago. I think with Khalil Herbert there, I think that would be another that would be last year's running backfield multiplied. Because Chubb's that much better than Montgomery,
Right.
but they do a lot of the same stuff. But yeah, I think that double-headed monster back there would be a lot of fun to watch.
I love Nick Chubb. I think he's so underrated. I think he's one of the best all-around backs, and people think he can't catch just because they had Kareem Hunt and they had to showcase Kareem Hunt as the pass catching back. But Nick Chubb can also catch. Nick Chubb can do everything.
Yeah.
He's a throwback running back. He's a guy who I think he could play in the league for a decade and compete. He's built different.
Yeah.
All right, Kenneth Walker or Josh Jacobs?
Oh, I love Kenneth Walker. I always underrate Josh Jacobs, and he makes me regret it. And Rich is in the chat, so it makes me even more prone to want to take Walker here. But I love that talent of Kenneth Walker. He's a guy that I want to root for, where Josh Jacobs has just never been that guy. And I know I have a bit of a bias because he obviously, I know none of them care about our fantasy teams, but he's openly said he doesn't care about our fantasy teams. I don't know if I like that guy. So I want to take Kenneth Walker here. So I'm going to take Kenneth Walker here.
Bathroom board for you and Rich. Rich, Justin says.
Rich will take any bathroom board.
So Kenneth Walker
Just
Justin,
write it down. He'll chat it in a second. But
Josh Jacobs, Rich. Excellent. All right, we are almost through. This has been a fun game. We are going to have to do this again because this has created some exciting discussion. All right, Terry McLaurin or Michael Pittman?
Okay, Terry McLaurin, Michael Pittman. I'm going to say that the Colts get a better quarterback this season because even if they don't, they got Gardner Minshew, and I've always been down on Gardner Minshew, but that's still going to be an upgrade already. I think Michael Pittman takes another step up. I've said it every year, and every year he's taken another step up. They have an offensive-minded head coach. Hopefully it's a head coach that's going to run the ball like crazy. And I know that sounds crazy if I'm leaning Pittman, but that really opens up that passing game when you have a dynamic guy like Jonathan Taylor running the ball. And that only helps with your efficiency in the passing game. But Terry McLaurin is from Indiana, and I've always been a fan.
I'm tugging at your heartstrings with this one.
You are. I'm trying to homer both ends here. So, like Terry McLaurin's one of those guys where like I don't own a lot of jerseys, but if I could jersey that guy, I probably would. But oh god, so the way the offenses are set up. Let me think, man.
While you're thinking, next time we do this, because George, Rich, everyone wants it on the bathroom board. Next time we do a game show like this, which might be a little more often than not, because I think we're going to try to have some fun this offseason. George or Rich, we're going to need to bring one of you on to be like a moderator. So you could be in here. You will have access to the doc. And as we go through the show, we'll confirm it with you and you can put it on the doc because I'm having a hard time going back and forth. But I will share the doc with you all. Again, you all have it. All you got to do is go to Google Docs and type in bathroom board and you'll anytime you've had it, it'll pop up. It's titled 2023. But
it might be kind of entertaining to have them both moderate at the same time.
Yeah, they're practically doing that, but I'm just going back and forth. But enough stalling. Who you taking?
Michael Pittman. I'm gonna homer it though. Like I honestly think like if
George is in the tub, oh man.
If I had to win a fantasy football league this season, like I feel like if my back was against the wall and I had to fight my way out, I'd probably take Terry McLaurin. But I'm gonna
the quarterback. Here's another question: the Washington quarterback or the Colts quarterback? Who outscores? Not knowing who it's going to be, right? But like, which quarterback scores the most fantasy points?
Why did they get rid of Heineken?
I don't know.
I mean, he was the better quarterback last season. Oh man, yeah. Not knowing.
I'm interested to see what Howell's got.
Yeah.
You ever play in a fantasy league where they have team quarterback? Like you actually get the team's quarterback. Like if somebody gets hurt, you still have their backup.
I've talked to George about that. Actually, it's a charity league that I'm thinking about starting up, a 32 team charity league, and that's how that would work. But I'm looking at their depth chart right now, and they have Jacoby Brissett on the roster, and I know what people think of Jacoby Brissett. But after he had that leg injury when he was with the Colts that last season, he was not the same quarterback. But before that, everywhere he went, all he did was win football games. He had the single highest winning percentage of all quarterbacks before he got that leg injury. You can look it up. It was over 90% as a starter. The dude always won, even though he played like crap. He knows how to manage a football game. I feel like if they give a short leash to Sam Howell and he messes up very much, Jacoby's going to go in there. And if he's the quarterback, then you need to trade off all of your McLaurin shares because the wide receivers do nothing in a Jacoby Brissett-led offense. He's probably going to end up leading that team unless they do something drastic in the draft. So I'm leaning even more heavily towards Michael Pittman.
So say you're playing in that league, team quarterback. Yeah. Which team quarterback outscores the other, Washington or Colts?
I'd say the Colts just because they're the Colts, and I'm gonna lean that way. But they're
close. The Colts are like Washington.
It's both crap. But
at this point, they have pieces.
I'm almost hoping that the Colts trade back to get Hendon Hooker and wait and tank another season and get another great draft pick next year.
I want a team quarterback bathroom board bet on the board.
For these two teams?
Yes.
These are the teams you choose?
Yeah, we've never had a team quarterback bathroom board bet.
This is straight up toilet bowl bet. But
Rich says Washington will throw. So Rich is taking Washington. Are you going to
I
take
don't know that
Colts?
they will throw because with those two running backs, that's all they're going to have. Yeah, I'll take the Colts. And Rich can have the crappy Commanders, and I'll take the crappy Colts, and we'll roll with it.
This is the best. Look at us. Look at us. Just, team quarterback. We have a team quarterback bathroom board bet. All right, we intended on shortening our shows in the offseason and going down to 45 minutes. We are currently at 55 minutes. All right, Evan Ingram or Dalton Schultz. This is the last one.
I'm going to go Evan Ingram. I think that they've made enough steps last season to show that they're going to be contenders. They're going to be legit. And anybody that goes to Houston pretty much goes there to retire, or that's their next step towards the XFL. So I'm going to go with Evan Ingram, even though if I had to start a team, like if I was a GM of an actual team, I'd go Dalton Schultz. For fantasy purposes, I'm going to go with Evan Ingram.
Everyone's going Evan Ingram.
That one's only the second one that is easy for me.
I'm going to go Dalton Schultz. PPR.
Put it on the board.
With everyone going Ingram, I'm just going to be the devil's advocate because I also don't think that it's that far apart. If I thought it was so far apart, I wouldn't have put them both in the same question. I think it's close. I think Dalton Schultz is going to have a chip on his shoulder that he didn't get the contract offer he was hoping for. And I think and that's what he does. He's not a blocker. I know Evan Ingram also, he's a field stretcher. He's a playmaker, but I think Dalton Schultz has better hands than Evan Ingram. I think I think Dalton Schultz is a better player than Evan Ingram. I also think Evan Ingram's a good player. I've been on him since he came out of Ole Miss, but I just think Dalton Schultz is a better player. I think the offense in Jacksonville, I think the quarterback's better. I think Trevor Lawrence is better. Christian Kirk, they got, I don't know if Zay Jones is still over there, but they got Calvin Ridley coming back. But Texans, Justin, let's say they draft a rookie quarterback. Let's say they play a rookie quarterback. Who do rookie quarterbacks like to target?
Yep, that's fair. That's very fair. I agree with that.
So absolutely. I'll say Dalton Schultz is coach. And this is the last one. This has been very fun. We're going to have to do this more regularly. Evan Ingram is Rich.
Zay Jones is still with the Jaguars, by the way.
Rich, George, Justin. So Rich and George. Oh, Gav Dog is in the house, man. He
my buddy.
All he does is win. He won like 3 autographed jerseys in Canton. It's my guy. I hope you're doing well. I hope Uncle Steve is staying away from you because I heard he's still angry at you. So stay safe over there.
Gavin, buddy, we gotta buy our tickets.
Yes,
he's coming again. So real quick preview for next week's game. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be giving you 3 stat lines. And I'm going to give you
2 weeks from now. Next week, we got the Gridiron Scholar coming on.
Oh, even better.
John Lau. All right. We're going to have John Lau. We're going to talk some draft, just some in fantasy realm, but then the week after. So let's do a game show at least every other week.
Nice. I like it.
But if you like it, you comment, you let us know you like this, and we'll keep it up because this is fun.
But I'm going to give you 3 stat lines. And I'm going to give you 6 players. And of those 6 players, you have to tell me which of those 3 stat lines were which player.
Yeah, I like it. And Gavin's in here. He said him and Uncle Steve have a truce. I'll believe it when I see it. Uncle Steve is plotting. He is waiting. He's kind of been messaging me about some things he thinks he can pull off on you, Gavin, when he's in Canton. So just be careful. Just be very careful. He's got his eyes on you. George and Rich, I DM'd you on Twitter the bathroom board bets. So go through and look at them. And we have made rules at Toilets and Titles. You can't just go back and add your name to bathroom board bets. But I am giving you, that's the Joe Clark rule.
Yeah.
We brought Joe in and he just, every bet. But I will allow you all, Rich and George, because you were here. I wasn't able to write them all down. So you were here, you witnessed them, you chimed in. So add your name to whichever ones you aren't on. All right. And whatever, I wrote down the ones that are there, add your names to whatever is not on. But Justin, this has been an absolute blast. If you've enjoyed it, again, comment. We're at 987 subscribers on YouTube, and we would greatly appreciate a sub. Also, toiletstitles@gmail.com. Email us your mock draft We're putting $20 in a pot for every 10 mocks we receive. $500 cap we will give to the winner of the mock draft challenge. We have on Twitter at Toilets Titles and at Coach Sheps more details about this challenge, but you need to be subscribed to Draft Countdown. You need to be subscribed to Toilets Titles on the YouTube in order to enter. Patreon.com/Toilets Titles if you would like to support the show. Thursday night on the clock. Make sure you're in touch, or rather locked in to the Toilets Titles YouTube, because not only are we doing these other shows, we got tons of shorts. We got Showtime George. We cannot get his face off the shorts, man. He's rolling, and he's got a following. George has like his own little Toilets Titles sub community fan group. They just follow this guy around. Every time he puts up a short, they're just liking and commenting. Go ahead, Justin.
I was just gonna say real quick with that. We've also been getting some hits on our TikTok as well, and that's not something that we ever really promoted on the show before. So I'm just going to throw that out there. Follow us on TikTok as well. Again, just like I always say, you'd be surprised how many places, how many platforms we could go to, and the name Toilets Titles was available. Yes. So you search Toilets Titles, you're going to find us.
Yes, it's us, and it will be us. And you will find us on the network throughout the week, and you can also find us in the Gilded Chat. So DM us at Toilets Titles, at Coach Sheps, at JustinFF_. You get in the Gilded Chat. You have access to us 24/7, and you get access to the mock drafts. George Reed is running them throughout the week on Sleeper, and we have a lot of fun doing those. So, man, just stay tuned. Get involved with us. We would love to interact with you in the community. That's what makes this fun and what keeps us going, man, because we were just talking to each other. We could just do that over a cell phone conversation. We want to be talking to you and talking with you. So with that, enjoy your evening. Have a good week. Enjoy this beautiful spring weather. We will catch you all later on. Take care.